Oh,
We're good. I got it. Feel like we need some music going.
we do need some music.
Hi, all those joining. Welcome. We'll get started in a minute or two here. And drop in the chat. Who are you with? Where are you coming from? We'd love to hear from you. Hi, Teresa. Welcome. Hopefully it's warmer in Georgia. It's not so warm in Nebraska here. It's a little chilly. Hi, Wendy. Oh, hi, Michelle. I missed you.
And welcome, Team 85.
And I'm just going to give it one more minute and I'll kick us off here. Tiffany, California. I am so jealous. All right, so I will get us going here. Hello and welcome. In today's event, we'll be diving into the sales funnel, discussing leads to members. We're excited to have you all here with us, and we just want to make sure we ensure a smooth and enjoyable experience. So before we get this kicked off, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping items just to help make sure we're using the best of our time. First and foremost, please ensure that you have stable internet connection and that your devices are functioning correctly. If you experience any technical difficulties during this webinar, don't worry, we'll be recording the webinar and we'll send it out after. We encourage active participation and engagement, so ask any questions you have or share your thoughts in the chat or in the Q&A below. We'll reserve some time at the end for a Q&A session, as well as answer any follow-up questions post-event. As stated, this webinar is recorded, and the recording will be made available to all registered participants after the event. You'll also receive a follow-up email with a summary of today's discussion and any relevant information. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our distinguished speaker, Matt Henman. Hi, Matt. Matt brings with us more than 17 years of experience in business development, encompassing leadership roles across various profit and nonprofit organizations. With nearly 2 decades of experience in the fitness industry, Matt combines his deep understanding of the industry with his expertise in lead management. His extensive career includes serving as vice president of the CRM brand of VFP, or Vice President Customer Services, sorry about that. And he's currently leading the client executive team at Daxco here. Matt is very excited to discuss the topic of the sales funnel and managing and converting your leads to members today. So without further ado, let's begin our journey with Matt. Matt, take the virtual stage.
Hey, thanks so much, Marissa. I appreciate it. And thanks for everyone who's hopped on so far. I know you're taking time out of your day, so I'm going to hopefully make this as empowering and engaging as possible. A quick story, I think, is as we open this up, from my lens in the fitness industry. I came into fitness when I was 16. As a 16-year-old kid, I was pushing about 300 pounds. I was unhealthy, I was overweight, and as a 16-year-old, that's not a great place to be. There was a gym being built down the street, about 20 miles from where we had our family farm, and got a job at the front desk. And so really thankful they hired me. As I got that job, I began to experience, as a front desk employee, as a member, what community means in the industry. By the time I was a senior, I had got down to about 225, an all-state player in football, basketball, and track. But really, it was the relationships and that environment at that fitness facility that really had a huge impact on my life. And that's what's really carried me into like, hey, I just love fitness and I love empowering our team members and our customers to create the best experience they can. So I just wanted to share that with you because that's my personal experience. As we talk about today, we're going to talk about really kind of your complete member strategy. So we're going to start at the top of kind of what we call what I'm going to call a funnel today. So as we look at kind of your marketing engagement tools, as we kind of go through this as a company, really educating you, showing you, helping talk through what the member strategy can look like. And so we want to talk at the top of the funnel, really, how do we engage your leads? How do we make sure that as soon as that person submits their information or knocks on your front door, that we're engaging as quickly as possible? And then how do we have tools around converting those leads into members, making it easy for your team to manage? And then, of course, retaining those happy members, right? We want to make sure as we get your members onboarded, that attrition, that they're happy, that they're part of your community. So that's really what we're going to kind of focus on today in that complete member strategy. I think the first step as we look at that is how do we empower your team and your staff? So as you're engaging those prospects, as people are knocking on your front door, we want to make sure that you're engaging those prospective members within the community versus various outreach tools, really consistent, great communication, and then making sure that your team knows and can use the tools that are available, whether it's the day-to-day follow-up with those potential prospects, or kind of the managing and reporting so you can inspect what you expect. Really, the goal as we build things out with our customer is 80% automated and 20% staff driven. So we know that the kind of the marketplace, right? As you look at hiring your team, training your team, developing your team, there's a lot of responsibilities that your team members have. And so how do we make sure that we automate 80% of the either text, email, communication flow, and give your team that 20% interaction that makes it real, that actually makes everything come to life. Prospects who take the time to fill out your web lead forms as you respond quickly, we want to make sure that they know you care, right? And having that technology in place that helps you respond under a minute is the new standard. With this competitive landscape in the health club industry today, it's important to know how long it takes for your club to respond to that. So as we take this and we take 80% and automate that, we make sure that those responses are going out to industry standards. And then letting your team know, like, hey, we're going to start this new marketing engagement tool. That can be overwhelming, right? When you talk about like a CRM or customer retention management, sales enablement tools, this is a marketing engagement tool. It's big words. There may be lots of baggage there, but what our goal is to help you and your team simplify things. So if we empower your team, we train your team, we build this communication strategy together, you've got what you need to make sure that you're engaging with your leads more efficiently and faster. So let's talk a little bit about how we engage those leads. Really, the first official step in the club experience is whether you have people that are walking in the front door, friends that are bringing in their friends, people that are knocking on kind of your virtual front door. We want to make sure that we engage those prospective members in the community via various outreach tools and communication methods. So we've got kind of this picture here. This gal's coming in. She's going to get a great workout. She's at the front door, but the front door looks different today. And so when we talk about kind of the first high level picture, we want to look at what does our website look like? That's the new front door. What does our digital marketing look like? So as we work together in kind of this marketing engagement tool, we're working with the web development team, the digital marketing team, making sure that you have really good search engine optimization, which is a big word to make sure that you get your organic search coming in, so you're not paying as much. But we want to make sure we look at your website, we look at your digital marketing, we're optimizing your website so that we're really making sure that you've got people coming into that top of the funnel. And then as those folks are interested, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, other social media mediums that you're using, that we have really good messaging connected to those to make sure that they immediately feel like, oh, hey, this person cares. And this organization really wants to have that relationship or that conversation with me. So how does that convert leads to members? Right. So as soon as those leads are coming in, or as soon as those prospective members, those prospects are coming in, we know that 78% of customers buy from the company that responds to their inquiry first. So those prospects who are taking the time to fill out your web lead form, when you respond, hey, again, they feel like you care, and you're creating that positive experience. Having that technology in place that allows you to respond within that minute and that standard gives you a competitive landscape in the industry. So we've talked a little bit about, hey, as people are requesting information, they're knocking on the front door, members are bringing in their friends, right? We're going to talk first about really that lead or that prospect that went out on your website, or that new front door. We initially, like as we create your journey or your communication journey, we're going to talk about in mediums of text message, email. As soon as they fill out that form, there should be an immediate text. Hey, thanks so much for knocking on our front door. We can't wait to see you. And email giving a little bit more context, right? So we've got more marketing landscape where we can have a little bit more in-depth information about what, hey, here's your free pass, here's some information about us. But the next piece to automate things, so you've got 2 points automation: text, email. And then the next piece is, as soon as that person submits that form, with our marketing engagement technology, we can immediately make that phone ring. So person fills out the form, the sales staff phone begins to ring. So we can connect that. We can point that to whether it's the front desk, whether it's your general manager, whether it's someone on your member experience team. But as soon as that person fills out that form, that phone rings. They can pick up that phone. I think one thing that's also really valuable is they're not immediately connected. When they answer, it's going to say, hey, this is Matt. He requested a free pass. Press 1 to connect to Matt. So when they answer, they know their name, they know where they're coming from. Press 1, and we're immediately connected to that person. So our facilities, our clubs that have been using this have seen a 40% increase in those web lead conversions by simply making sure that we have some of those automation pieces in place. And this is just kind of a great chart to kind of show, not just in the fitness industry, but generally speaking, in kind of speed to communicate with those folks that are reaching out for information about a company, that their conversion rate, first person to connect with that prospective member or prospective customer wins. And so the conversion rate at the beginning, and then as you kind of go through, you can see if, hey, we don't reach them by the next day, one of our competitors may have already done that. And so we want to empower your team to have some automation in place to make sure that we're within that 1, 2, 3 minute mark as they submit their information. So as we bring that to life, we talk about engaging prospects digitally, but I think it's important to have a great look and feel on your website, that your website matches your in-club marketing. And this is really kind of giving a lens into, hey, they've gone out to the website and they've submitted their information. From here, we've got great tools on the marketing engagement side that allow your key team members to have a dashboard and log in. So this is just a quick visual where they can see, hey, here are the people that I need to call and follow up with today. Any incoming text messages would be available kind of in a chat board. So instead of the team using their personal phones to text somebody, which you definitely don't want. You've got everything in a really great controlled environment so that communication between the customer and your staff is all in one place. So this is where they can go in, they can make phone calls, they can create kind of those opportunities for a person to come in as appointments. And then as they come in, we've got an image down here on the bottom right that kind of talks about our guest sign in. So that's how we know as that person is going through, like, hey, at the top of the funnel, they're interested, right? They've said, hey, I'm interested in seeing what this facility is all about. And then once they come into the four walls, it's really important to make sure as we're checking them in, we're collecting your digital waivers, any kind of communication waiver you may need, right? So that's all digital. So long gone are the days of kind of pen and paper. But we're also working with that information to know, like, hey, this person has come in, they've submitted their information, and now we're saying, hey, we can't wait to see you. Now that they've checked in, like, hey, thanks so much for coming in. We hope you had a great workout. By the way, before you leave, check out X amenity or Y amenity so that we can kind of create that conversation. And again, that's all kind of part of blending your journey and what you want those key things to look like as you communicate out like your value proposition for those folks that have visited. So follow of the guests. So we talked about the speed to initially connect with those folks that are at the top of the funnel. And then the next section is we talk about those folks that, hey, they came in for that free trial. They're interested. And what does your follow-up process look like? So by automating a lot of that, we've seen an increase of about 20% of those prospects that have come in. They've been interested, but they're actually now making the decision to be part of your community. So passes and free trials have been a staple in the industry for years, but it's really all about that follow-up, making sure that none of those free trial guests really fall through the cracks, and having that technology in place with that automated follow-up, make sure that you've got a really good safeguard that you're communicating with folks that you've spent great marketing money to create a great experience on that initial visit. From there, we've talked about, hey, leads come in, guests come in, but the next step is really making sure that you have a convenient membership process. So some of our customers, some of our clubs are seeing more than a 40% of their membership sales are coming from online. And that number over the last 2-3 years, we've just seen a dramatic kind of shift in the industry where people want to join online in the comfort of their own home. And so it's important that you have that integrated communication strategy where if somebody requested a free pass, right, or they requested more information, that as part of your follow-up narrative, you're pointing them to your website, you're pointing them to the mediums or what you have there that kind of introduce them to the new digital front door. And then when we do get to that point where they've experienced the facility or they haven't come in for their free pass, but maybe it's time to just go ahead and get started, that we have really good follow-up to point them to, like, hey, if you're ready to get started, here's where you can do that from the comfort of your own home. And then, of course, in club, right, we want to have a great convenient membership process in the club to really sign them up for a membership on the spot. But what's our process? It's not about the membership, right? It's about making sure that that member stays and is part of the community. So how do we make sure that we retain those happy members? 70% of consumers would say how well a company understands their individual needs impacts their loyalty. So it's really important as we look at kind of your digital marketing, your marketing enablement tools, and the ability for your team to follow up, and some of that automated piece to know your members, know the community, and speak to that individual based on their needs. So as we look at kind of your post membership, like, hey, this person's now a member, what does that member journey from a communication and follow-up lens look like? Is it really easy to make sure that member is pickleball, the most important thing in your community? I know the club I'm at, they've got some pickleball courts and they're always full. but that may be a place where you're really meeting those individuals and saying like, hey, now that you've become a member, make sure you check out the pickleball court reservation process. Now you make sure that that online person, that member who just joined online, may or may not have stepped in the four walls of the business, gets invited to like, hey, now that you're a member, let me take you through everything that we have to offer here. And then I think the pull away from this is really understanding, as we're looking at your new member follow-up, what are the key things that differentiate you in the community, and what are your community needs where we can speak to that impact that member loyalty. So I think that's key to kind of look at. The other piece as we look at that is a possible prescriptive digital orientation, right? And so when I say prescriptive digital orientation, that can look different depending on your facility, your club, what area of fitness you are serving. A lot of times when you hear orientation, you think about kind of the personal training side of the business, but this may be really on like the, hey, I'm a new member, and I want to make sure that new member goes through an orientation of sort about what we offer, whether it's tennis courts, swimming lessons, pickleball, all of those different pieces. And so the digital orientation, you can visualize this with me, is really a software tool that allows your team to walk through, hey, this is our digital training process, to walk through, hey, what does the PT orientation look like? So taking the PT orientation and making that digital, taking that new member onboarding experience and making that digital, so that your team has a tool to walk through, just like I'm doing today with you, to make sure that they're building value, they're saying the things that they need to say when they need to say them. And you've got a really great way to scale with your training. So I think it's really important to kind of think about, hey, what does that digital orientation look like? We know that those members who go through that are 13% more likely to be retained longer, that those that join that don't have that interaction with the team. On top of that, I think the big number here that kind of jumps out is we know that those engaged, happy members are going to spend more, and I think more importantly, right, participate more. So we know that, hey, if we're doing the right actions and the right activities, we're going to have positive results on revenue. But if we have participation and we have a healthy community, that's what really drives that spend, right? That's what really drives your revenue. So we looked at a study, 100 plus health club locations, 400,000 members, to really determine the impact of consistent engagement. And so we're kind of wrapping this all up together. And we found that those members that are happy, that are engaged, that had a really seamless process from raising their hand to walking in to being part of the community, that those members, we start seeing a 231% increase in their lifetime spend in the club. So if your membership is $100, we've got an extra $131 a month that they're spending, and we're seeing that kind of increase value over the average. So in kind of summarizing, I want to walk through, hey, we want to make sure that you have a great plan to engage your leads and engage those prospective members. The front door looks different. We want to really empower your team to use 80% automation and 20% one-to-one to keep it real, right? Keep it authentic, to convert those leads into members. And then we want to think through, what does our process look like to retain happy members through that automated lens? And thanks so much for listening to me, spending some time with me today. Marissa, I'm going to pass it over to our team, but are there any questions? You can take it through the chat, or we can kind of open it up to questions.
I don't see any questions coming in yet, but I'll give another minute. So if anyone has any questions, we're happy to answer some questions. Otherwise, we can wrap up, and thank you for your time. right, well then, Matt, I believe we can wrap up. This is recorded, so we will send this recording out post this event. Thank you all for attending. It's been a pleasure to share with you. Thanks all.